Hey everyone, welcome to your 60-minute yin yang practice. I'm Angie. As always, you don't need anything for this practice, but if you would like to make yourself more comfortable in certain positions, I will give you some guidance to how to use a blanket and a pillow to make yourself more comfortable when we go into those relaxing yin positions. So we're going to be starting off today lying down on the front. So make yourself comfortable lying down your front. If you have sensitive knees, you might want to place a blanket underneath your knees. You can take your forehead to your hands, or you can rest your head off to one side. Once you're there, close the eyes down and begin focusing in on the breath. Not changing anything, just observing. So the most common things that I get asked about, and most common tight areas in the body, are shoulders and hips, because that is generally where a lot of us hold our tension. So we're going to be working through a flow and some yin postures today that release the tension from the shoulders and the neck area and also the hips. So what I want you to do now is bring your awareness to your shoulders and just feel your shoulders relax. And notice if there's any particular areas that feel particularly tight, perhaps the muscles at the top of your shoulders, or maybe it feels like it's inside the joints, maybe it's more around the neck, or maybe it's more along the upper part of the spine and the upper part of the back. Now bring your awareness down to your hips and relax the muscles around the pelvis. And then notice any areas that might feel particularly tense or tight. And just sitting for a few moments with those observations. We have the tendency to try to create stories about why our shoulders might be tense or why our hips might feel a certain way. But instead, just just observe. Observing those sensations without getting too involved in them. If you're feeling really relaxed everywhere, then that's great, just enjoy that. Now bring the awareness to the front of your body, particularly now towards the front of your rib cage. And I want you to take a deep breath into the front of your rib cage and feel it expand against the ground. And as you do that, feel this expansion and rising of the upper back. And then let it all out with the exhale. Open the mouth, sigh. Inhale deeply. Feeling that expansion and openness in the lungs. And exhale, sigh out. Good, so now we're going to do 5 counts in and 10 counts out. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale for 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fill up, expanding, and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last time, inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reach right to the end of the breath, fully expand before you exhale. 1, 2, feel your body reach down to the ground. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Breath in. Close the mouth, breath out through the nose. Thinking about that smooth and slow, steady breath. With the inhale slightly longer, so that we stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the nervous system that is going to bring us into that calm state, that rest and digest, or rest and repair state. Lovely, guys. So from here, just taking your left hand underneath your left shoulder, press it down to the ground. You're going to extend your right arm away so it's in line with your right shoulder. Then you're going to bend up your left knee, push into your left hand and roll onto the right hand side of your body. You can take a pillow underneath your head if that feels comfortable too, or a rolled up blanket, or you can just let it come back to the ground. You can either keep your left leg stacked on top of the right, or you can bend up your left knee and place the left toes to the floor behind you. If you've got very tight shoulders, you might want to keep that left leg slightly further forwards so you don't go as far, so the weight isn't drawing all the way back. So take your time to work out which position is right for you. Then once you're there, take a long breath in and a long breath out. We're here for 2 minutes. Let your eyes close. And if it doesn't feel comfortable with your eyes closed, just find a spot in front where you can gaze toward. Beginning to notice the length of the right arm. How much of the floor does your right arm fill up? Is your right arm holding on to any tension, and can you let go of it? Can you feel the shape of your arm? If you try to close your eyes and envisage the shape of the arm, can you see that? Can you see that in your mind's eye? Can you feel the tension from your shoulder draining down and away? Can you feel more space opening up in the joint? For these last 3 breaths, can you relax even more? From here, you're going to roll the body back onto the front. Then take the right arm to the floor beside you, so it's down beside the body, just like this left arm is. Turn your head to the left-hand side so the right ear is on the mat. How does your right arm feel now? Check in, no judgment. And slide your left arm to the side so it's in line with your left shoulder. Look over to the right side, right hand underneath right shoulder, pressing down to the ground. And use that effort to roll yourself onto the left-hand side of your body. Again, you can use a pillow underneath the left side of your face, or you can just rest it to the ground. You might want to bend up that right knee and take the right foot to the floor behind you. Or if you're not going so far, you can take that right knee onto the mat in front, so you're not going so far. Take some time to decide which is right for you, and then your own time settling in. And instead of now letting the mind wander off into thoughts and plans and to-do lists, let's bring the focus back to the breath. And watch the breath as it flows in and out. Moving through your nostrils, through the back of the throat, down into the lungs, creating some movement in your rib cage, and therefore your chest, and therefore your back, and therefore your belly. Perhaps a slight rise of that right arm as the breath comes in. And breath goes out, creating movement in your rib cage, and then therefore movement in your belly, your back, your chest. Feeling the breath move through the back of the throat, back out through the nose. Perhaps you can feel a brush of air against the philtrum. And follow meticulously like that, the breath all the way in and all the way out. Notice how much space your left arm fills up. Can you see your left arm in your mind's eye? Can you imagine its shape? Draw to mind what your arm looks like. And for these last 3 breaths, seeing if there's any more muscle that you can let go of. Perhaps there's a muscle in the finger that can soften. Take a deep breath in. And slowly bring it back down. Take both arms to the floor beside you. Turn your head to the right side, left ear to the mat. Bend up your knees now so the feet lift away from the ground, and sway your knees or your feet from side to side. Take your hands underneath your shoulders and press yourself up into a tabletop. Walk the hands so they're just slightly further forwards. We're going to come into pigeon pose. So right knee comes to the inside of the right wrist, right toes to the left hand side of the mat, left toes slide back and pelvis draws down towards the ground. I like to pad myself up for this restorative style of pigeon. So if you've got quite a lot of space underneath your right hip, you might want to place a blanket or a pillow underneath. And then you can bring yourself forwards. You might want a pillow underneath your chest as well, to take yourself down into your pigeon. If that feels very far away, you don't have a pillow or a bolster, you can bring yourself up onto forearms and rest that way. If you don't want to do either variation of those, if it doesn't feel right for your hip, then come into your deer pose, right shin parallel to the front edge of mat, and then left shin parallel to the left edge of the mat with both knees bent, and then you're folding yourself forwards. Resting here for 2 minutes once you've found your spot. Once you're in your spot and in your pose, holding without movement. So the only movement to focus in on, without fidget, is the breath. Last breath. Walk the hands back. Ease your way out slowly. Drop onto your right hip, remove your props and swing that left leg around to the front. So you come to sit cross-legged. From here, take your hands onto your knees. Close the eyes down. How does your right hip feel in comparison to your left? On the exhale, drop your chin to your chest. Stretch out the neck. And on the inhale, lift your chin up towards the ceiling. Stretch out the throat. 3 more times like that, taking it in your own pace. Exhale to drop chin to chest. And inhale to lift chin up. Exhale to drop chin to chest. And inhale to lift chin up. Last time. No rush. Simple, gentle movement. And with the exhale, bring the head back to center. The eyes flicker open, just bring yourself back into the room. And then we're going to take it over to the other side. So Just going to take the hands forwards, the right leg is going to go back, left knee to inside of left wrist, left toes pointing towards the right hand side of your mat. Right toes slide back, hips draw down. Make yourself comfortable with any extra padding that you might need underneath your hip or in front of your body. Then when you're ready, fold yourself down. And if you want to, you can come into deer instead. You drop onto that left hip, bend up both knees, left shin parallel to the front edge of the mat, right shin parallel to the right edge of the mat. And fold yourself forwards. Once you've found your comfortable position, holding in stillness. There is some space here in your mind where thoughts are wandering around, getting a bit too chatty or a bit too loud. Acknowledge and accept them, and then shift the focus back to the breath. I mentioned in one of my previous classes this week that I was listening to a podcast that said with anxious thoughts, if you're suffering with anxiety, when a thought comes in, if you try to resist the thought, it's more likely to persist. So to get rid of anxiety, or to alleviate anxiety at least, or alleviate anxious thoughts, we first must accept and acknowledge them, and then let them go. So any kind of worry, acknowledge that it's something that you're worried about, it's something that is troubling you, and perhaps labeling the thought as well, labeling the worry or the anxious thought can really help. Once you sort of lean into the thought, it gets a little less scary. And easier to let those thoughts go. Each time a thought comes in, shift the focus back to the breath. And seeing if you can go do those 5 counts in and 10 counts out. Again, really trying to calm the nervous system. Last breath. Walk the hands back. And then we'll bring that right leg across the left. Take the hands onto the knees, sit with the sensations that you can feel in your left hip. With the exhale, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. With the inhale, take the left ear to the left shoulder. Inhale, take right ear to right shoulder. And exhale, left ear to left. Twice more like that. Making this your last round. And using the inhale to bring the head back through center. And then letting the eyes flicker open. Okay guys, swing your legs around now to tabletop. Make sure your mat is clear of all your things. We're going to go straight off into the right arm, lifting the right arm up towards the ceiling, taking a twist. Then as you exhale, feed your right arm underneath the left and rest onto the right side of your face. As you inhale, lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. And what I want you to do now, we're coming into some more active stretches, a more active movement. I want you to press your right arm to the ground so you can really feel this stretch along the top of the right shoulder. Take your left arm behind you and perhaps hook that left hand to the front of your right thigh. I want you to keep pressing that right arm to the floor. If you want to go for the balance and you know the balance, left leg goes back, left leg lifts up. Keep hold of your core. Follow the breath. If you fall over, if you're trying this one, don't worry. It's quite a tricky balance. It takes a while to find out where the center of gravity is. And then bending up the left knee comes back. Take left hand to the ground. Press the hand down, right arm lifts up. As you exhale, take your right arm forwards. And as you inhale, draw your left leg back. As you exhale, bring right elbow to left knee and curl through the spine. And as you inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, keep your left leg long and take your right hand to the ground. Then bend up your left knee. Draw your left heel just a little bit higher without going into too much of a curve through the lower back. So you're starting to use your glutes. You're going to draw your left knee around in circles out to the side, round to the elbow, and all the way down. Twice more with those circles, round. Keeping the left leg long, tucking the right toes. Going to hover the right knee away from the ground just for a moment, and then lengthen that right leg and lift the left leg up towards the ceiling. From here, bend your left knee, stack your left hip on top of the right, open up the hips. Shine the pelvis towards the left hand side and squeeze your left heel towards your right bum cheek. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, take your left foot to the ground. First downward facing dog, so pedal out the feet, sway the hips. Do what feels right to get yourself into your downward facing dog. Following the breath once you're there. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bend your knees, take the knees down to the ground. Left side, left arm lifts up towards the ceiling, twist. Exhale, feed your left arm underneath your right. Then rest onto the left hand side of your face. Press your left hand down. Reach your right arm up. Right arm goes behind the back. Maybe it hooks onto the front of the left thigh. Keep pressing that left arm down so you really get a good stretch along the top of the left shoulder. Option to take that right leg back and maybe start to hover that right foot away from the ground. Remember, it's fine if you fall. One more breath in. Exhale, bring your right knee to the ground. Take your right hand back down to the floor. Press it down, lift the left arm up with the inhale. As you exhale, reach your left arm forwards. And as you inhale, reach your right toes back. As you exhale, gather right knee to left elbow. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, gather. Inhale, lengthen. Keep your right leg lifted. Take left hand to the ground, then bend up your right knee. Lift your right heel just a little higher without coming into a deep curve into your lower back. Then draw your right knee out to the side, round to your right elbow, and down toward your left knee. Twice more like that, taking the knee around in circles. Easing and stirring away tension from the hip. Bringing the knee back up, lengthening your right leg, tucking your left toes and hovering your left knee just a couple of inches away from the ground just for a moment. And then lengthening your left leg to lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. Then bend your right knee, stack your right hip on top of the left, shine your pelvis towards the right hand side. Inhale to lengthen your right leg. And exhale, slowly bring that right foot to the ground. Your knees might need to bend. And in your own time, pedal through the feet. On the inhale, walk your hands back towards your feet, bringing yourself to the back of the mat. Let your torso dangle over the thighs and keep your head heavy. Like we did before when we were lying down on our front, feel like you're breathing into the front of your rib cage. And perhaps you can feel the belly move against the thighs as you breathe. And perhaps you can feel this expansion through the back body. As you inhale, scoop your belly in, press your feet down, keep your hands and your head heavy as you roll up through the spine. Once you arrive up, bring your shoulders up to the ears and let them slide down the back. 3 more shoulder rolls like that. Take it really slowly. Inhale to roll them up. And exhale to roll them down. Let your arms just do whatever is necessary to get the shoulders all the way round and up. And back and down. Last time. Inhale, roll them up. And exhale, roll them down. Just sway the head from side to side. Drop the chin down to the chest if it feels good. And then bring yourself back into center. Turn the palms to face forwards and press your feet down to the ground to activate your legs, your core, all the way up through the spine, through the back of the neck, out through the top of your head, arms engaged. Inhale as you lift the arms up towards the ceiling and let the palms meet. And as you exhale, fold your body forwards, the knees can be bent. As you inhale, lengthen through the spine, bring your hands onto the shins, find a long straight back. Exhale, take your hands down to the ground, walk your hands forwards into your plank pose. Take a deep breath in once you're there, squeeze your glutes. And as you exhale, lower your knees to the ground, bend the elbows back, lower the chest, modified chaturanga. Inhale as you lift the chest forwards into baby cobra. And as you exhale, take it back and up into your downward facing dog. Breathing. Knees can be slightly bent, but even if your knees are bent, you can start to drive your heels down towards the ground. Next, inhale, the left foot comes to the middle of the mat, and your right leg reaches up towards the ceiling. As you exhale, bring your right knee towards your nose. And step your right foot in between the hands, or as close as you can get it. Take your left knee to the ground. And then walk your right foot over towards the right hand side of your mat. Both hands underneath shoulders, shoulder width apart. Lift your chest forwards and draw your shoulder blades down the back. Holding here for 3 breaths. Press down through the right big toe. You can leave those left toes tucked or you can untuck them. If you're untucking them, press down through the top of your left foot as well. Stretching out the front of the left hip, and the inner right thigh. Take another breath in. As you exhale, tucking the back toes, lengthening the back leg, walking the hands just a little bit further forwards. Now see if you can step your left foot up to the left hand side of your mat, turning your heels out, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Hands onto elbows, sway your body from side to side, easing tension from the lower back and your hips. Release the hands, roll the body up to standing, one vertebra at a time. Bring the feet to hip width apart, just stepping them in. 3 shoulder rolls, roll the shoulders up towards the ears and slide them down the back. You might even want to take your arms into this now, so hands come onto shoulders, making bigger circles with the elbows. Then drop the arms down, and with the inhale, lift the arms all the way up, palms meet. Exhale, fold yourself forwards. Inhale to lengthen, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms down, step your right foot to the back of the mat, left foot joins. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring your knees to the ground, bend the elbows, lower the chest. Inhale to find your back bend, shoulders roll down the back. And exhale to take it back and up into your downward facing dog. Breathing. Feel the pelvis lift up, the navel draw in and back. Your hands press down to the floor and your shoulders spread apart. Right foot steps into the center line of the mat. The inhale takes the left leg up towards the ceiling, 3-legged dog. Exhale, bring your left knee to your nose. And use your core to step your left foot in between the hands. Shuffle your left foot over to the left hand side of your mat. So left hand underneath left shoulder, right knee to the ground. Draw your chest forwards and draw your shoulder blades down the back. 3 breaths here, pressing down through your left foot. And if you're untucking your toes on the back leg, press down through the top of your right foot as well. Stretching out the front of your right hip and the inner left thigh. Another deep inhale. Exhale to tuck the back toes and lengthen the back leg. See if you can now step your right foot up to the right hand side of your mat. Hands come a little bit further forwards, dangle yourself down over your legs. Roll up through the spine, 1 vertebra at a time. Bring the feet to hip width apart, stepping them in. Rolling the shoulders up to the ears, slide them down the back. If you want to take it with a full arm this time, fingertips draw all the way up and round. Moving with your breath, the inhale takes the arms up. And the exhale takes the arms all the way around. Nice, guys. Bringing your hands to your heart center. So we're going to step the right foot back. You can either step it back or you can fly the leg back through Warrior 3. So bring the right knee into the chest and fly the leg back. Just have a little go at this. And then sending the right foot to the back of the mat. You're going to take your right heel to the ground, so those right toes turn out towards the right hand side of your mat. Left knee stays bent and the arms extend out. Take an inhale. Exhale, left elbow to left thigh. Right arm reaches up. and over towards the front of the room. Now we're going to keep that circle going with the arms. You're going to take the right arm all the way down and then back and up. Forwards and down and back and up. Twice more with your breath. Next exhale, take right hand to the ground. Left hand to frame the front foot. Use your core to step your left foot back into plank. Take it through your vinyasa flow, so either knees, chest like we've been doing, or chaturanga. Inhale into either up dog or baby cobra. And exhale to take it back into downward facing dog. Draw up and away from your shoulder joints. And feel your tailbone lift up. Try not to flare through the rib cage. Keep it nice and contained. As you inhale, look forwards, bend the knees. Step or jump or walk to the top of the mat. Lengthen through the spine, halfway lift flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take your arms all the way up. And exhale, bring your hands to your heart center. Either stepping it back or left knee draws into the chest. Exhale, fly it back into a warrior three. And then land the left foot to the ground. And then you're going to turn your left heel to the ground, left toes turn out to the side. You're going to extend the arms out. Take an inhale. Exhale, right elbow to right thigh. Left arm reaches up. And then over towards the front of the room. You're going to keep that circle going, so the left arm is going to go down to the back, all the way up. Forwards, down, back, and up, and twice more with your own breath. See if you can reach the arms even further. Not putting any pressure in that right shoulder joint, so you're lifting up and away. Last reach forwards, and then let the exhale take the left hand to the ground. Right hand comes to the outside of the right foot. Step your right foot back into plank. Take it through your final vinyasa flow. Knees, chest or chaturanga. Inhale to find your back bend. And exhale to take it back into your downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Lift up and away from your joints. And as you exhale, lower the knees to the ground and sink your pelvis back to the heels. Child's pose. Roll up to sit back onto the heels and just rest the hands on the thighs for a moment. Good, so we're going to take the right arm across the body. I'm going to come round to mirror you. Taking the right arm across the body, I'm going to take the left arm underneath, bend it up and draw that right arm across. So draw the right shoulder down as much as you can. And for an extra stretch, just take your right ear to your right shoulder. Good. Taking your left hand now onto your right elbow. Bend up your right elbow and take your right hand to the middle of your shoulder blades. Just like this. Then you're going to draw that right elbow across. And now you're going to resist your elbow or your arm with your head. So you're slightly pushing your head back. And then you're going to push your arm against your head. So you should feel this as a good stretch along the tricep. If you're tending to do this with the ribcage like I am, knit your ribcage back together. Keep it contained. Really pushing into that resistance. And then releasing out. Just take the hands onto the thighs, focusing in on only the right arm. How does that right arm feel? Going to the left side, left arm draws across the body, right arm goes underneath, draw it across, and that left shoulder stays heavy. Actively drawing the left shoulder down. Taking your right hand onto the left elbow. Bend the left elbow as the left hand comes to in between the shoulder blades. Draw the elbow across and then press into the arm with your head and resist the head with your arm. This is going to bring some warmth and activity to your shoulder joint. It's going to build up strength around flexibility. Last breath. And then release it out. Take both hands onto the thighs. How does that left arm feel? Focusing only on the left arm. Alright guys, final pose we're going to do. This one I would definitely recommend using a blanket. If you're on carpet you may not need the blanket. If you've got anything that can pad your knees up if you're on a hard surface, I do recommend grabbing something. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure you've got a long bit of padding, and then you're going to take that padding across your mat. It doesn't matter which way you do this, you can do it lengthways or across. Then you're going to take your knees as wide as feels comfortable, and you're going to bring your hands forwards. Then you're going to take your feet or your ankles in line with your knees. Then you're going to start to walk your body forwards. Now you might feel like you can take the knees a little wider once you're in that position. And once you're in that position, I also want you to see if you can draw your hips back just slightly. This is called frog pose. So I'm going to show you from a different angle as well. So knees as wide as feels comfortable, feet in line with knees, then walking hands forwards, perhaps coming onto elbows, seeing if you can slide your knees just a little bit further, and see if you can draw your hips back, and that's where you're going to find the stretch. We're here for 2 minutes. This is one of those poses for me that builds intensity over time. So if it builds intensity for you as well, really focus in on the breath. I recommend doing the 5 counts in and 10 counts out, trying to relax the jaw. trying to relax now the target area. So we're targeting the hip joint itself as well as the inner thighs. Finding that stillness. Is there something else you can let go of? Can you make your exhale even slower? Remembering that everyone's hip structure is different, so your position might look very different to mine. Your hips might be further away from the ground or closer to the ground. Nice, guys, just 3 more breaths. Lovely, so we're going to come out of this really slowly. So you're going to just walk your hands just slightly further forwards. You're going to bring your feet back in. You're going to climb up onto your hands and then use them to help slide your knees back in. Easy does it, one leg at a time, very slowly. And then we'll come down as a rebound onto our front. Just the way we started. Taking either forehead onto hands or turn the head to one side. We're going to come into Savasana now, so if you want to try a funky transition into Savasana, follow me. Otherwise, just roll onto your back. So you're going to wiggle yourself halfway off the mat onto your left hand side. So your left hand side is off the mat, the right hand side is on the mat. And you're going to feed your right arm underneath your body. And you're going to press into that right arm and just let yourself flop over, unravel into Savasana. And if you'd like, you can make some adjustments, or if it feels good to just have flopped there, just hold yourself there and come to your restful position, your final relaxation pose. This is a place where you can really listen to your body. Are there still some fuzzy, warm sensations going on around the hips? Is there anything going on in the shoulders? We're going to keep control of the breath. Breathing in for 5 counts. And out for 10. All breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In for 5, out for 10. With this next exhale for 10 counts, imagine your breath traveling from your chest up to your shoulder joints, Feel the breath swirling around the shoulder joints and gathering and releasing tension, draining it away down into the mat beneath you. And with the next exhale, imagine the breath traveling down the belly, down into the hips and swirling around the hips, gathering and releasing tension, cleansing the joints. Do that once more for your shoulders and once more for your hips. Inhale. And this time as you exhale, send your breath up to the shoulders and down to the hips together. Feel this expansion of air. And as the air reaches into your shoulders and hips, that's your permission to relax even further. Last time like that. Now let go of all control of breath. Bring your awareness to your right hip. Bring your awareness to your left hip. Bring your awareness to your right shoulder. Bring your awareness to your left shoulder. Bring your awareness to your left hip. Bring your awareness to your right hip. Bring your awareness to your left shoulder. Bring your awareness to your right shoulder. Bring awareness to both hips. Bring awareness to both shoulders. Bring your awareness to hips and shoulders together. Take a deep breath in. A cleansing breath out, sigh. Take your time to move. I recommend starting with the head, dropping the head and the chin from side to side. And slowly gathering your knees in towards your chest. Give yourselves a nice, big, nourishing hug. Turn yourself over onto one side. Resting on that side just for a moment. And bring yourself up to seated. Sitting with the newfound strength and space in your shoulder joints and hips. radiate calm from those 4 joints. Bring your hands to heart center. Take the thumbs up to the third eye. Bow the chin to the chest. Thank you guys. Thanks everyone. I hope you enjoyed. Have a lovely, lovely day. If you haven't already, please subscribe. The link is down here, or there's a link in the description to become a member with lots of other fun videos and activities. Thanks so much guys. I'll see you again soon. Take care.